One city council race that we were watching on election night was in the 13th district up in the Bronx, where that borough's only Republican member of the city council, Kristy Marmorato, lost to a newcomer and longtime labor organizer named Shirley Aldebol. Marmorato made headlines 2 years ago when she became the first Bronx Republican elected to the city council in decades. But this time around, the seat went back to Democratic by a margin of almost 2,000 votes. City Councilmember-elect Shirley Aldebol joins us now from the annual political conference Somos El Futuro in San Juan. Good evening, Shirley, and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Errol.
So tell us about what this victory symbolizes and how much the Mandani effect influenced the turnout in your district.
Well, I think that, the mayor's race generally did have an effect on the district, but, the majority of voters in the district are suffering from, the affordability crisis and, a lot of the issues that weren't being addressed by the incumbent city council member, and just dissatisfaction in general with what the Republicans are doing in Washington, D.C. and how it's impacting folks in the Bronx and in the 13th district.
Yeah, that's an interesting effect that we've heard about elsewhere, that the Republican Party operating out of Washington as far as the shutdown and some other national policies were having local effects. Did that bring out more Democrats than you might have expected?
Yeah, it brought out a lot of Democrats, but I'm really proud of the campaign that we ran. We talked to voters all over the district. We talked to voters in parts of the district where they felt neglected and marginalized, and we reached out to so many people, knocked on thousands and thousands of doors, talked to people in the street, at their schools, in the, supermarkets, wherever we found voters where they were, and had conversations with them. And most of them, said the same thing. We want a more livable, more affordable city. We don't think that the Republicans are delivering for us, and we want to change.
Okay. Now, it was reported that Marmorato said that if Mandani were to win, she would actually support President Trump deploying federal troops to the city. Is there ever a situation in which you would support something like that?
I would never support anything like that. That's a ridiculous notion. It's absurd for her to say that, and quite frankly, she had said many times in the past that she wanted to bring ICE into the Bronx, that she was going to work with Homeland Security, with Tom Homan, to bring ICE agents into the Bronx to get rid of, immigrants or illegals, as she referred to people. And, I had a different message. It's like we have to, preserve our sanctuary city legislation. We have to protect our immigrant communities. Immigrants are, the backbone of New York City. They have built New York City, and, they contribute to our economy and to our communities and to our culture. And, New York is not the place for Trump to be sending troops or ICE agents to separate families and detain people.
One of the things that we've talked about before that will undoubtedly be an issue for you after you're sworn in is that your district seems to be attracting a lot of development. There was the Bruckner rezoning just a couple of years ago. There was the attempt to get a casino, the Bally's Casino proposal for Ferry Point. There will probably be other proposals. How do you plan to handle that?
Mm-hmm. Look, I plan to handle it the way I've handled everything, in my career. I want to make sure that we're not just building buildings, but that we're really building communities, that our district is a place that is affordable for seniors, for working people, we have to deal with the homeless situation. We have to move people out of shelters, into housing. We have to give people the support that they need to be able to live and thrive in our district. And that's what the approach that I'm going to take for every development. We need development that's going to create good jobs. We need development that's going to be responsible and, give back to the community where they are developing.
Not that long ago, you were described as having retired from SEIU Local 32BJ, where you had a long and illustrious career. It sounds like this new one is going to take as much effort, if not more, than what you've spent the last few decades working on.
Yes, I am ready to roll up my sleeves. I wasn't ready to retire, so I really retired from Local 32BJ to focus on this race, to be able to, focus on, leading in this district and delivering for the people of District 13 and the Bronx and New York City.
One of your first votes will be arguably your most important one, which is who you will support for Speaker of the City Council. I understand that the contest is kind of already hot and heavy, and that people are making requests and making deals down there in San Juan. Do you have a candidate that you're supporting for Speaker?
I have spent all these months focusing on my election and my race. So quite frankly, I have not committed to any one candidate for Speaker.
Okay. What do you make of the Mandani phenomenon? We're all still sort of trying to sort through the numbers, look at which communities supported him and why. What is your take?
I think, it's interesting, but there was a surge of young voters, which I thought was, phenomenal. The number of young voters that came out throughout New York City and even in District 13 had a huge impact on Mandani's race. He won in parts of the district, in District 13. That Eric Adams did not do well in the last race. So yeah, I think I still looking at how this all is going to shake out, but I think that his message of there was a message of hope, a message of optimism, a message of opportunity that people were able to get behind despite all the the negative rhetoric. I think people really felt very strongly that we need a new approach.
Okay, we're going to leave it there for now. We'll let you get back to the workshops and other festivities that are going on down there. Thanks so much for spending some time with us, and congratulations again.
Thank you again. Thank you, Errol.